Hey guys, so I'm going to take you on a little bit of a nature walk, showing some things to you that are just in my yard. And then for a project, I want you guys to make your own nature walk and show me things that you notice that we've talked about in class that are around your neighborhood or anything like that. So let's get started. With any good nature walk, you need the right gear. So I got my hat, I got my nice warm coat because it's April in Wisconsin. Still mad. And then got all my other stuff, like the proper foot, these are not the proper foot gear. We got to put those babies in 4-wheel drive. Ooh, good to go. So here in the front of my yard, we can see all of these little trees that we planted. They were actually a wedding gift because I'm an adult and those are the kinds of presents you get. You get trees. So one of the reasons why me and my husband decided to plant trees here, as you can see, there's actually a pretty big slope that goes down here to the road. So we wanted to plant trees here to help with erosion so we can make sure to keep our property a little bit higher than the road and just help mitigate some of those different effects of erosion. But as we can see over here, we can see this bologna sandwich that happened. This is an arborvitae, or I guess it was an arborvitae. So this, it kind of looks like a cedar tree a little bit. It's actually one of those trees that grows really, really fast, but deer absolutely love these things. And Duke absolutely loves to pee on them as well. Gross, nasty. So what happens in the winter is that deer basically eat these, but none of the rest of the plants. So these are a landscaping plant that if you live in a really densely deer populated area, you do not want to have these. You can also see all of our other evidence of deer in our yard. All of these big blank spots are all from deer urine and all of that kind of icky stuff that they leave behind, and it kills off the grass. So this is really, really indicative of some deer sign in my yard. So this that I am looking at, we can tell it's an ash tree, and one of the ways we can tell that it was infected by emerald ash borer is this little D-shaped hole. And this tree is very, very dead. And we can actually see quite a few of these little holes all over it. And you can also tell that this tree is dead because there's no top to it. Like, we cut it down. So it's dead. So this is the cross section of another ash tree that we cut down in the property. And it's really, really cool because we can see this on a lot of different dead trees. So in the middle here, we have this cracking. What that cracking actually is it forms along something in a tree that we call a ray. So the ray of the tree is actually these little stops. And when the tree is dry, when it's not full of water and sugars and all of that stuff, that's where the tree is going to crack. When the tree is alive, those rays act as stops. So if something would harm the bark of the tree on the outside, maybe like right here, we can see the bark and we can see the cambium layer. And then finally the inside of the tree. If something would harm the bark here, like if somebody would carve their name in it or a deer would eat part of that bark away, what the tree is able to do is it compartmentalizes that decay within the rays, so the whole tree actually doesn't rot. It's a really, really cool thing that trees can do, and that's actually one of the ways that trees can survive like wildfires and different things like that, because they can compartmentalize where that decay or where that damage is actually happening because of where those rays are. Something else that's really fun to do is going in local woods this time of year and looking for sheds. So, look, I found one. Look, it's a shed. I'm just kidding. So sheds are deer antlers, and in like January, February, March, deer will actually shed their antlers, and then when they fall, you can find them, but a lot of times you'll find them chewed up because they're really, really high in calcium, as our book has been telling us, and a lot of rodents will actually eat those antlers for the minerals, which is pretty cool. So here we've got some more animal sign in my yard. So we can see here that we have definitely some sort of a canine because we have the 4 toes, and it's a pretty big one. You can see that print is almost as big as my whole palm, and it belongs to him. Duke! He doesn't even care about me. He is sick of me being at home. This is what my life has come to. Over in my side yard, we also have more deer pea kill signs. But there's no arborvitae over here, so what the heck are they eating? Well, we happen to have an ornamental apple tree. So a lot of those little apples fall during the winter, and then the snow covers them up. So when the deer are hungry, they come over here and eat all those apples that have fallen to the ground and then ruin my lawn. Over here, another part of my yard, we have some pine trees, and we can tell that they are actually planted by hand. Can you guys see? They're all in those super straight lines. So long ago, a farmer probably planted these because our property was actually on an old farm that got divvied up amongst all of the kids. And this was probably planted for like a break in the, oh my gosh. All right, back from my brain fart. It was planted as a windbreak between the house and the field. One reason why we have mulch in this area is because anything under pine trees is really acidic because of all of their needles up there in the canopy. When they fall to the ground, they make the soil really acidic, and it makes grass really difficult to grow in that area. So if we get up closer to these trees, you can actually see that they are really young red pine. Can you kind of see how the bark has a little bit of red in it? That's actually how you can tell a red pine from a white pine. The cones of these are actually really cool as well. They are what we call a non-serotinous cone. A serotinous cone would have almost like a waxy covering under the cone, and here you can see how this one's open. It would actually look really closed, so it would look very flat. In areas where there is a really high amount of wildfires, the cones are often closed, and they actually need a wildfire in order to open. Here in the southern part of the state, we have more open coned pines because we don't have a very good history of having a fire regime. Otherwise, these trees would not ever be able to reproduce. So you can actually tell, based on the type of cones that trees have, how often fire goes through that area. Alright, so here we have a wood pile from some dead trees that we chopped down last summer, the summer before. And in these trees, we can actually see galleries from an extremely invasive emerald ash borer infestation. So we can see a lot of those galleries there. If we look on the outside of another one of these, we can see all of the little holes. You can definitely tell there's a lot of emerald ash borer in this area. Another really cool feature of the area where I live is the area behind me, which is actually a woods, and we're actually on the top of a glacial ridge where my house is, and I don't know how well you guys can see this in the video, but it actually goes down probably like 100 feet, and then there is a creek down there. So kind of a cool geologic feature. We don't ever go back in this woods because they belong to our rich neighbors, and so we don't trespass there, you know. So usually in this area of the field, somewhere in that far tree line over there, I usually see a red-tailed hawk, and she'll often swoop down in this area and pick up bunnies or mice or anything like that. So in the winter time, Duke loves coming out here and sniffing in the grass. And the reason why is because all of this dead grass from last year kind of forms a little bit of a mat. So mice love to go underneath that layer of grass with the snow on top of it, and it adds a little extra layer of insulation for them. So a lot of times when you see like dogs or foxes or coyotes pouncing on snow. They're listening for the vibrations of those little rodents and trying to get them underneath the snow and underneath that layer of grass. So that's just a little bit of ecology around where I live. So now what I want you guys to do is either go to a natural area or just your neighborhood and point out some stuff that you know. Identify a couple trees. Show me different areas where you think rabbits could live or where coyotes could live, or if you see deer sign. Show me all of those things to help you go outside and enjoy nature a little bit. Hey, Duke. Hey, do you want to say bye? Do you want to say bye? He doesn't know what's going on. Well, bye.